Hey everyone, what's up? This is Mozart speaking. I decided to do a review late on Sunday night. Usually, I do this on Monday morning, but there's an important event happening, right? Trump pumped up crypto. And what now, I think? About everything that's happening. Are we going to hit a new high or not? And what do we need for that? And where would I open positions again? We're getting rid of all these drawings. Everything here is closed. We're getting rid of all of this. Clearing it out, clearing it out. All right, that's not relevant anymore. Look. Pump strong first. Second, is it enough to reverse this whole setup? The downward structure. That started from February 24th. Well, since the night of the 23rd. Oh, I apologize. No, it's still not enough. If we want to see a V-shaped reversal, we need to hold above 96, and preferably above $97,000. This line here. This is roughly the R4 for the current month. Not yet. The exit based on the indicators is there. It's noticeable, visible, but it's not strong. So it's not strong. A strong exit is this one. Here's a strong exit. This is plus or minus. That's for now. They only showed the head. Everyone is looking at this just as a bounce. Well, if you look at it from the perspective of the indicators, of course. The same goes for Magdia. Nothing special, just a little bend has just started. On the plus side. And what's the minimum target we need to move forward and at least test these levels? The area of $96, $97, $98,000. We need to hold steady. Today, the daily candle will close in 4 hours. Higher. R3, the monthly pivot. So above the mark, roughly speaking, $91,000. If we close above it, the chances that we'll go up are much better. At least up to here, just a little higher, it would be a lot better. The main thing is not to get dumped below 91 until the end of the day. Otherwise, we could go back for a retest, something like that. Like this channel, for example, and at least cover the gap from that pump. I can't guess here right now. Let's work with what we've got. On the 4-hour chart. Well, by the way, the 4-hour candle, it just closed. It closed pretty well 5 minutes ago. The volume is massive. The volume is massive. But the key moving average, 200. There it is. They didn't close. We need to break out to here. The daily chart confirms the same thing. We need to break out to here and stay here. That's when only we. With a higher probability, we're going to make a new high. And we really need to break out to here quite decisively. So, actively, energetically. It's not just about barely crawling up and then going down somewhere. Yeah, we really need to break out up there properly. That's when it will be, yeah, it's a signal that we're going to go for a new high. Not yet. And right now, jumping back into longs, I'm not really keen on that. I just closed them. That's risky. Because there's a chance we'll have a huge gap at the opening tomorrow. There's a chance we might test some more levels. 100, moving, at least 50, maybe. Well, I don't know. So, it's still too early. So, where am I going to open longs? Well, either somewhere around here, I would open. At the test of the 50. Closer to the closing of this whole gap. Around there. Well, if it gives a strong pullback, if it gives a pullback, maybe it won't. But if it does, it'll be in this range. 86 to 89,500. In this range, I would open a new long. Either we wait for a strong breakout, right here. Really, strongly. Like, on a similar candle. We're staying here. And here, either take it from the current levels right away with a stop. So, for this whole setup, right here, at the start of the pump, a trigger stop, of course, that's how I do it. Or with a small pullback. Here, for the long. Same here. Or right from the current level, with a target for a new high. Here are two options. This is based on the 4-hour chart, and the lifts will be the same. Well, again, I'm just throwing out some thoughts for you to consider. Of course, as usual, I'll give out longs. Or shorts, and what I'm going to do, all of that will be in the Telegram channel. If you really don't want to think and just want to get some signals from me, By the way, the link to the Telegram channel is in the description below this video. The entry points will be there. We won't have them here. We're just discussing more here. Next, Mondays. Bitcoin definitely looks cool. Mondays. It's such a strong breakout. A powerful breakout. Mondays, good close. It would be perfect if we could buy back today and close this candle green altogether. Because if it closes red, we can still trade some part of it. Some part of this candle. We can even go by Fibonacci. Just like that, I don't know, we can trade. Something like 50. And the higher we stay today, the better the outcome will be for this week. Next. But the most important thing, the key point, is that we didn't close for the week. And so far, it looks like we won't close. If in the remaining 4 hours they don't close below the 88 mark, it won't create a double top. This is a very important and serious factor for a bull market. Everything's clear about Bitcoin, I think. So, the summary. The exit is good, strong, 4 hour, nice, cool, great. But I don't want to jump in right now. Either on a correction down to the range of 80, whatever I mentioned. So, we'll figure it out later. 85, 80, 9500, I think. Or higher, way higher. Either we're heading closer to 100. Over there with good volume, or even above 100. And from there, we open up from the current levels. Up I give. There will be more details in the style guide. Total 3. I think the one that interests everyone the most is ALT. Here it is, closing the week better. Better than Bitcoin. It's better to be reasonable. So, if we stay around the same level, give or take, with a similar green candle, it would be an extremely positive signal. An extremely good positive signal. So, for now, you know, I'm waiting for a retest of a trillion. If we close with the same hammer candle, the retest of that trillion will be highly likely. With a very high likelihood. At least a trillion. At least. And this is where we'll make a decision. What should we do with our public portfolio? Table. He's in profit. He stayed in profit. Even when Bitcoin was at 79, it was dropping. There weren't really any big fluctuations there. Yeah, it's still in profit. It dipped a bit, but overall it's been stable, you know. Because they really smooth out all those short-term longs on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana for us. But, so, the key mark will be here. A trillion. It's a psychologically important resistance. How we approach it, I'll be looking at that based on the actual situation. If we approach it fast, on what volumes, slowly, with divergences, without divergences. Or we might just break through it right away and hold above it with more volume. Those will be completely different situations, which I can't predict right now. And we'll act based on the facts, depending on what we have. Right now, we have an increased likelihood of a test. Trillion. That's good. And we've locked that in. What will happen at a trillion, I don't know. We'll just make a decision based on the actual situation. I'll also record a video, explain everything, and show it. Well, what's interesting is that Bitcoin's dominance also started to drop quickly. A lot of liquidity has flowed in. So, what did Trump call it? Cardano. Ripple is the strongest of all, and Solana. Well, Solana is the weakest, right now, out of these assets. The weakest asset out of this trio is Solana. Referring to Ripple. Cardano is strong. Not weak. But it's not as strong as Ripple. Still, Cardano looks pretty good in the market. Clearly, right now, there are some dominant players, that's Bitcoin and Cardano. Now it's Cardano, Litecoin, Ripple, and Stellar is just tagging along with Ripple. So, these are probably some obvious dominant players. Right now in the market. You can work with them on a larger scale. Dominance. They bought back part of that dominance, but overall it has dropped. You can see it. In the last 3 to 4 hourly candles. Well, twofold. It's very likely that we'll close this figure. We haven't closed it yet. No need to celebrate too early. We haven't closed it yet. But the probability is high. So, closing it. Essentially, considering the current dominance position at the highs on Mondays, we can go ahead and distribute this much to ALT. But I already mentioned this in the last video, 58 to 59%. That's a lot, and it's enough to give alt another boost. I don't know, 10 to 20%, maybe even 30% growth from the current levels. Here it is. That's roughly the situation. This, the main thing I wanted to say. From here on, we'll just work based on the facts. Thanks for listening. So, what do you think about the market? Leave a comment, I'd love to read it. Did you close along with me? Or did you stick to your own system? Did you follow risk management or not? Again, it's interesting to read about what everyone has experienced. Because this event, this kind of thing, well, it's really rare. So that there's volatility in both directions. I'm curious how everyone dealt with it. Thanks everyone, this was Mozart, and see you later.